Hello, this method is very different from other methods. You will notice during these 7 days with me, this method is different. But on the other hand, I make the commitment, I give you the guarantee, that if you follow these 7 rules, well, your level of spoken English will improve enormously. If you follow the 7 rules, you cannot fail, it is impossible. I'm going to explain to you today why, in the first rule, which is the secret to learning to speak English. What is very important for you to know is that this course is based, or rather intended, for people who already understand English. So if you are a beginner, this course is not for you. The 7 rules, the secret to learning to speak English, is the title of today's rule, Rule 1. Before telling you about this secret, I will tell you what not to do. And there, you may be a little surprised by these tips. The first thing I advise you not to do is go to English class. The thing I advise you not to do is not to learn grammar, not to learn vocabulary lists. So all of this is quite surprising. How can you learn a language without going to class, without following grammar rules, without learning vocabulary rules? This may seem quite surprising. This is the reason why I told you before that this course is intended for people who understand and who have the basics. I personally think that you don't learn to play football by sitting in a room and studying the rules of football. I think you don't learn to play tennis by sitting in a room and studying all the rules of tennis, all the theory of tennis. I think you always need a minimum of theory to understand something. But theory is not everything. If you only store theory, listen to complicated grammar rules, read vocabulary lists that will not help you, with words that are taken out of context, you do not improve in a language. So now, the suspense has lasted long enough. I give you Rule 1, which is very simple and which is the basis of the English learning system. This one rule is to listen. To listen. You have to listen to a lot of English, which is on the one hand authentic, so which is real English, spoken by real English people, and you have to understand, that's very, very important. If you listen to things you don't understand, you won't be able to improve. However, if you listen to things that you understand, sometimes even if there is a sentence and you don't understand a word or a phrase, thanks to the context, understanding the whole sentence, your brain will do the link, find the meaning of words and expressions that you do not yet know. So you have to listen to a lot of authentic English that you understand. It's simple and it's scientifically explained. How it works. It is once again very, very simple and very logical. Your brain registers all of this. The brain, if you listen to 30 minutes, an hour, or more, of English a day, and you understand it, I emphasize the word understanding, you must understand, this is unfortunately not magic. If you lie down and listen to English without understanding, or without really listening, if you sleep for example, you will not improve. It has to be active listening. Your brain, at that time, will make the link. He'll hear a sentence, he'll say single quote, "Ah, that word I don't understand, but I understand the other words that allow me to make the connection." So your brain is very, very well done, and really understand the meaning of the phrase. And by force, all of this is automatic and natural. Everything is automatic. You hear, for example, you hear me say a conjugation so that you understand. Your brain, if it hears this expression 20 times, it will record this. It will say, so that you understand. It will not say, so that you understand, or so that you understand. He will say, so that you understand. The brain, by dint of hearing, will engrave this in your memory. And when you think about it, it makes sense. That's exactly how you learned your mother tongue, no more and no less. This is how children learn every language. So why try to learn English using any method other than the method you use to learn your own native language? That's really a question I'm asking you. There really isn't any logic in that. I'm just going to give you 2 personal examples, which have worked very well for me, and which make me convinced that this method works. Example 1 is when I went to work in Austria. I learned German at school for, I'm even ashamed to say it, but for more than 6 years. Unfortunately, I was unable to make a sentence. I went to class, they tried to teach me grammar rules, make me learn vocabulary lists, make me listen to German, which was not at all authentic, and that didn't bother me. Not interested. In 2007, I had the opportunity to go to work in Austria. I accepted this proposal. I was a young student, or I had just finished my studies. It was my first job. Once again, I couldn't make a sentence. I arrived in Austria, I couldn't speak. I had some basics despite everything since I had gone to class and I knew a little bit what the German language looked like. But I was unable to speak. I listened a lot. I listened. Every day my colleagues at work. I tried to watch a lot of television. I tried to listen to things that I understood. So to help me understand, I read a lot, I studied a lot, and I focused on listening. Result, in 6 months, I was able to speak. Of course, not perfectly, that's obvious. You can't speak a language perfectly in 6 months. But I was able to really make sentences, make myself understood, buy things at the supermarket, make myself understood at work. And so, this is the basis, this is exactly the method to follow if you want to move from the state of understanding to the state of expression. So of course, you might not be lucky enough to live in America or an English country, but that's okay. If you are in your country and you still want to learn English as if you were in America, now with new technologies and the magic of MP3s, you have the opportunity to listen to a lot of English, a lot authentic content that comes from English and therefore will give you the impression of being in America or in an English country. Second personal example. When I was in Austria, so at the very beginning, I spoke French or I tried to speak French to make myself understood, even if I tried to limit that in order to force myself to speak German. But my brain, after a while, said single quote, no, you are already learning a foreign language. In the video I say, kindergarten, which is a mistake, it's difficult. From now on, I don't want to speak French anymore. My brain decides. But I really couldn't speak French anymore. As soon as I tried to speak French, I rather spoke with German words, since my brain, by dint of listening and hearing German, said no, my foreign language is German, I don't want to speak French. So I understood everything in French, but I couldn't express myself. What I did, I made a mistake. I went to French class, where, as usual, they tried to teach me grammar rules, they made me learn vocabulary. Result, it was a failure. I couldn't speak any better. I didn't understand any better. I was very frustrated, certainly the emotional state that you yourselves are in right now, since you've tried everything and tried a lot to learn to speak English, and unfortunately everything failed. So I was in that state. And so I searched the internet a lot and started downloading podcasts in French, which I listened to for 30 minutes to an hour a day. In 3 months, I was able to speak. In 3 months of intensive listening, things that I understood, that were authentic, so they were French podcasts, authentic things that interested me, I was able to speak French. So it's really a very, very simple, but very, very, very powerful secret, to listen. This secret works. I recorded 2 videos. You will be able to see me speak German and French, and you will see, my level is not perfect at all. I do not claim to speak perfectly, not to make mistakes. But I am able to express myself in these 2 languages, German and French, in a natural way, and I am able to exchange, to use the language when I need it, and that is exactly how I see the language. It is a communication tool. Let's quickly recap Rule 1. Rule 1 is very simple. It's the secret to learning to speak English. The first thing is, don't go to English class. Don't learn grammar rules. Do not learn vocabulary lists. Lots of things not to do. To do, listen to a lot of English, 30 minutes, 1 hour a day, 30 minutes minimum, and the more you listen, the better, the more you will improve. You can start with the Authentic English podcast. You can start listening to the podcasts and soaking up the method, hearing a lot of English. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this first rule. Have a great day.